it was a great game against BYU, and we had we jumped out early on them, and then we had some lulls on offense, and I thought defensively played well, except for about two series there that we just didn't seem in sync. But you give BYU credit; they're very resilient, kept coming back, and we basically almost lost the game because of special teams and not getting some things done. But I thought the kids hung in there and came away with a win in the overtime. And again, the three players that were named Players of the Week in the conference, I surely deserve it. I thought JJ had some great punt returns, and I thought Terrence probably played as good a game as you could play as a linebacker, in the program. And Justin Hallman, I thought made some key throws in the game, and he also made some key blunders. But I'm glad that you counted the key throws. But I'm glad, I'm happy for them. It's great for the program that you honored them that way. But again, I think the game this Saturday, I'm really impressed with the schemes of Tulane. I see every game I watched. I see progress, and and again, I see a lot of kids that basically have a great passion for the game. You can see it by their effort on the field, offensively and defensively, and special teams. And again, it's another game that's a conference game, and I think you got to bring your A game and then see what happens from there. But again, our players have looked at film and they see what I just spoke about. So again, I'm impressed with just the running backs and the extra yards they get on missed tackles and poor tackling. And again, I think that there's steady improvement. That's what I look at even with our own team is progress, and I see progress each week, each game they played, and that's a credit to the coaching going on there.
Take questions for Coach O'Leary, please. Star 1 on your telephone to join the queue, and the operator will introduce you.
Thank you. Dan Tortora, Broadcast Media.
Hey, Coach. How you doing today?
Doing good, Dan. Yourself?
Doing well. Thanks for asking. I know you talked a little bit on Justin Hallman in the beginning there with your opening address, but to go a little bit further with him, 2 touchdown passes against BYU, and they both came late in the fourth quarter in the first drive of overtime. What can you say about not him only, doing what he needed to do at the end of the game, but being so successful when it was that crunch time where a guy really had to show up?
Well, I'm happy for him because he's a young player behind center, and he has his ups and downs, and I think I see steady progress with him. It's just a lot of things happen for the first time, and he needs to experience those. But I thought when he had to make some throws in the game on Thursday with BYU, he made the throws he had to make, and I thought we moved the chains, which was important. But I see steady progress with him. Probably not as quick as coaches want, as far as on offense, but I do see steady progress, and there's a lot of learned experiences that have to take place, and there's only so many sunrises and sunsets. But again, he's a kid that works his film very hard, studies film very hard, and again, I think the big thing is we got to keep manageable downs for him as far as third down, which I thought helped him tremendously on that game Thursday, where some of the past games we got into some situations that really for any quarterback they're not very manageable.
And then as far as not just Justin, but the resiliency of the whole team to be in a hard-fought matchup with a team like BYU that you showed respect for in your address, what can you say about the team's resiliency and how you've seen them respond not just on offense but overall in game situations like the BYU game?
Well, the culture of the program, I think, showed in the BYU game as in a lot of other close games that the players thoroughly understand it's a 60-minute game, and we expect their best effort. And every time they cross that white line, it's game day, and I expect the effort there. And I thought that's what they did. I credit the senior class. I thought they were really into the game on the sideline and on the field. And again, I've always said you're as good as your senior class as far as leadership is concerned. And I thought they did a tremendous job of keeping everybody on the positive note as far as their role in the game. And I addressed that with them after the game. That I thought the seniors did a great job of setting the role on that sideline and on the field. And again, I thought the players all understand what their responsibility is. And they understand their mistakes, and we pass the mistakes by, setbacks, and we worry about the next play. We'll correct the mistake later. But again, I think the resiliency is much like in practice. They understand every day in practice is game day, and we put a clock on them, and I expect when they're on they cross that white line to be game day situations as far as effort and everything else is concerned. So I thought if you practice that way, I think eventually you end up playing that way, and I think we've been doing that for a while now.
Thanks, Coach. I appreciate it.
Okay.
And do you have any other questions for Coach O'Leary, please? Star 1 if so. Coach, well, thank you for your time today. We look forward to talking to you again next Monday.
Thank you very much.